Hi everyone, it's Mary with a passion for paper. Thank you for joining me today. And I thought it would be fun to do a craft with me and make some scrappy notepads with a Christmas theme. So welcome to my channel. And what I have here is a whole assortment of coffee and tea dyed paper. Now, several of these have little sentiments that I have torn out. Actually printed a whole bunch of them on paper and then coffee and tea dyed them and then just hand tore a bunch of them out. So we have a bunch of those available. And these I tend to just rip papers and put them into a coffee and tea dye bath, and I do a lot of different ones. You can see this one's super grungy. This one also a mixture with that's been torn, so grungy edges. Some of them have parts of them that have been torn off, and some of them have a really lovely edge because they have been torn before I put them into the coffee tea dye bath. And I have different batches going all the time. I have plastic bins, and I just put in a variety of black tea and coffee. And I usually use coffee that I brew in my coffee pot. I started out just always putting the extra. When I don't finish a pot of coffee, put the extra on, in the coffee tea dye bath. And then sometimes I'll run extra water at the end of a batch and use that to dye paper. And once in a while I do whip up a batch of instant coffee. I just don't do it as often because I tend to just like to keep it as a part of my daily routine. So when I'm making coffee for myself, I just make a little extra to dye my papers with. And one of the things I like doing is constantly making different batches and not measuring because I like to have a variety of colors. And you can see there are so many different colors here just because there are, so many different batches. And so that's one of my strategies. And I do like the mixture of the tea and the coffee together. I just think it's comes out with some wonderful colors, shading, and extra grungy. I really like that extra grungy look. And I feel like you get that more when you combine the tea and the coffee together. Just some really lovely patterns and shades that come out of that. So we have just a variety. These I thought were really fun. What I did was I put landscape on my computer, just a regular doc, like a Word doc or Google doc, and then sorted it into, created 3 columns, and then just, tabbed down to move the words toward the bottom. So that would be something that I could use in my scrappy notepads, and just printed them out like that. So this is basically the supplies we're going to start with. And I also have some other papers that we can mix in as we go. I usually like to have a variety of different types of papers. And I do have other videos of making scrappy notepads, but most of them are with a French theme. I do love including French book pages and the French date stamps. I use a lot of those from Sam Poole Designs. They're beautiful. But for today, we're going to do some Christmas scrappy notepads, the first ones of the season. So I'm excited for these. And if you want to craft along with me, just, grab a bunch of, have a pretty nice big stack here. Obviously, we're not going to use all of that, but just strips of paper. And again, I'll give you these dimensions. So it's just under 4 inches. This one's one of the wider ones. This one's under 3.5, almost 3 1/4. and some of them are just exactly 3 inches. So I like to have a little variety in the widths, but that gives you an idea. And this is all just from 8.5 by 11 copy paper. And so when I fold down one of the edges, they do usually end up being around 7.5 inches tall. 2, 4, 6, 7.5, pretty much. So yeah, that's the norm. And I always just eyeball it. I want to have a little bit folded over for the top, and that is just around 1 inch. So I'm just picking some papers here to be my bottoms. In fact, this one should not be the bottom. I just realized I need to focus. Okay, I get very excited and then just get started. So why I don't want this to be a bottom is because the back should be the one that has something the lowest down here. So this one's lower. I can keep that as a back. This one is going to be something that I will put in and then probably tear here and here. So we'll just move that off to the side and pick a different, I think just a plain back would be nice, but I want one of the narrower ones. And a lot of times I will pick something that has a nice color at the bottom. This is about the same width. I want something that's, ooh, this one looks good. This is thinner than that, thicker than this. So this is going to be the other back piece. Okay, so you just pick one to be the back and then fold up the top, or fold it down approximately 1 inch or so. And what I love about these is if there is like a little piece that's ripped, that's fine. You can rip it again, make it even more scrappy, and that is part of the fun. Like this one, for example, would be a great piece to throw in there because it's just all scrappy and ripped already. And then I just kind of audition, where do I want to put it? I mean, that's beautiful. I hate to cover that up, but I also don't want to have too much of it showing, so I'll probably do something like this. So what I tend to do is I like to rip the excess off and then tuck it under and just start building up as I go. And I usually do these in sets of 3 because that's how I sell them in my Etsy shop, in sets of 3. And so if I do use some of the similar, you know, pieces or something that makes them kind of blend together, I like to do that as well. And the thing that I'm focusing on the most is making, I work from the bottom up. So I'm using a waterfall style. So you can see here, this is the bottom, and then I have a piece here and then a little bit higher. So my next piece is going to come in here somewhere, and then I just keep working up. And sometimes I do like to rip them a bit more, or you know, keep them straight. Like I might even like do something like take this and turn it around so that I have the torn edge at the bottom, and that makes it look, you know, not as uniform, which I like. I like to alternate and mix it up. Like this one's a nice ripped edge here, and then I have a straight and then a ripped. So that's coming along nicely. And then I also like to put in other things. So far I have a bunch of regular paper. Now I'm definitely going to put this in here because I love this Merry Christmas. This actually looks like a good length here. And my other tip is to use these little clips to keep them in place as you go. And then you can kind of, okay, so this is too far down. I'm going to lift it up because I want the bottom of this to be right around the bottom here, but not too low. So I'm just going to rip this and then see where it lands. And these extra pieces that I'm ripping off are perfect to put up at the top. So I'm just not going to move that too far away. I actually have a little stash here. I'm going, these are the 3 that I've torn off so far, and I keep those nearby because I like to use the same colors again. And so that looks like it needs just a little bit shorter. I'm gonna lift it up to here. So sometimes when it's that short, I might just cut it off with the scissor, but I use this as the guide, so I keep turning it back and forth, and then I'm going to tuck that under and make sure that I'm liking how the bottom looks, because that's really what I'm focusing on. And love that Merry Christmas. So next up, ooh, I think I'm going to put in some, I found these lovely Christmas songs. Deck the Halls. So let me see if I would be able to fit this in here. Now this is kind of cool because I actually coffee dyed this using a fancy pattern. I call this the swirl pattern. You can't see it that well. You can see it a little bit. Here you can make it out more on this side. Love those swirls. And so that makes it a little more special. This is from a vintage advertisement newspaper flyer. 1995. It's funny to me to think that's vintage, but yes, it is. Okay, so Deck the Halls. Now that is going to be a little too short. So I want, unless I just have deck the, and that's an option. Or I might just put this in one of the other ones so that I can see the whole thing. So for example, we could try it out here. That's gonna fit a lot better. So, yep, I think I'm gonna put it in this one. And then you can see I just have a little bit that I have to shave off here. That's one of the benefits of working on 3 of them at a time is, okay, so this didn't work because it's gonna cut this off on here, but then I tried it over here and see, oh yes, that fits just beautifully. So I can still have Deck the Halls here, Merry Christmas here, although now that I'm looking at it, it seems a little too busy, so I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to go over to my third one and pop it in here. Okay, so that gives you a little bit more leeway. And I want to put something underneath this so that I can then use these near the top. But I think I want something that just comes down. Ooh. I just saw this sitting here at the side of my desk. I want to see if that's going to look too busy or if it's going to be fine. Maybe I could put it over on that side and show the words peeking out. Kind of like that. I think what I would do here is make this a little bit shorter. Yeah, I like that. And could also audition a little something like this. Season's greetings, Merry Christmas. It's kind of fun. Could put something like that at the very top. Okay, so we'll just keep rolling here. I'm liking this so far. Maybe just a bit of music sheet could go in there without the words. So we do have this part of it left. So perhaps I'm going to see if something like this would be, ooh, I think that might be real nice right there. So as I said, it's most important to me how the bottoms look, and that's how I'm measuring. And then I'm just going to cut it off there. Again, I have a nice scrap I could use for something, and then I'm just gonna pop this underneath. And now, since I have so much busyness here, I want to put something down in here to have a little bit more busyness down that way. And ooh, just seeing, have some nice music here. This is not quite long enough. So what I want is to have a little bit more busyness down at the bottom. So what I think I'm gonna do is, this is from a vintage hymnal, and I want to see if I can see some of this down near the bottom of the Scrappy Notepad. Oh, that looks good. Now, the next question is, I'm deciding, should I put it here, here, or here? Might actually want it a little bit deeper in. Either here or here. Let's see how it would look like here. Now this is going to just show me words, so I don't know how that's going to look, but let's just try it out and see. Okay. Ooh, kind of like it. Yeah, that is very pretty. And I like that it's a lighter color and it's picking up this a bit. And so, yeah, I'm happy with that. And what's nice is that now they have a really beautiful vintage music sheet that is going to be one of the pages in here. And that's one of the things I love about these Scrappy Notepads is, yes, they can be beautiful just looking at them, you know, using them like this, writing, you know, a quote or a sentiment on here, or your, you know, thoughts or a list. But you can also tear these out and use them in other places in a journal. So I think that's really fun to have. And this paper feels fabulous. Okay, so I'm really happy with this. And then well, the last thing I usually do is put something here and then I'll sew it. So let's kind of work on the other two. So there's a nice torn edge. This is a wonderfully grungy piece. And I'm just building up some more layers on this. And I also have these words that I like to use. I basically type words in 3 columns using kind of an old-fashioned font. And then I coffee dye these papers, and I can tear them out and use different words in my Scrappy Notepads and in clusters and different things. Kind of like this page here. Ooh, the peace and joy would be nice. Let's pop this in here and see if I can tear around those. And I'm not going to go all the way over because I don't want to. Okay, yeah. So let's see how we're doing here. Get myself a little clip. I don't really want the word flowers in there since we're going for a Christmas theme, but hope, peace, and joy. Perfect for the Christmas season. Have to see if I think that's too busy or not. I'm not having the best of luck with that deck the halls piece. I might have to just jettison that. I love these. Here's the scrap from that music sheet. Love that number 8. Might have to put that over there. Let's see. Ooh. Just noticing this has it a little further down. Believe is a beautiful word for Christmas too. Let's take a look at that. And that way I could have the love come down lower. Kind of build that layer in here. I think I'm going to do that. Try this out. I like to audition things, and I usually like to just audition a lot of different things, and that's pretty much my process. Oh, let's try this. Let's try that. So this one, basically, I'm going to just rip it off underneath the word love. And that way I'm kind of building my layers in. I want to make sure I can see some of that grunginess though, because that's beautiful. And maybe raise it up a bit. So I think right around there is good. And then we'll tuck that in. Yeah. Okay. And we're just going to cover some of these other words up here, but that's kind of nice. Take that off. Hope everyone's doing well today. I know this is a very busy time of the year. And in Virginia today, it was raining all day. And I always feel bad for my little doggie when it's raining because she doesn't like going out in the rain to take care of her stuff. But she's very good. She'll just, you know, creep out the garage and come right back in. Although today I did have to put on my rain jacket and my umbrella and take her a little further down to the end of the driveway. This is kind of a nice one too. So yeah, they had been talking about it maybe turning into snow, but No, it was just rain. Oh, I kind of like this. See, I love the jaggedy edges, and that's a really good tip. Sometimes when I remember to rip the paper before I put it in the coffee dye bath, it comes out so nice. It gives it that look like you inked it, even though you didn't. That's just the coffee and tea dye in there. And so that looks fabulous. Okay. I'm going to need to pick up the pace here. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm going a little too slow. How are we doing? Yeah, 25 minutes. And I didn't have a chance to make a prototype for today's video, which is something I do usually like to do first, just to show you a finished product at the beginning. But honestly, I have not had much time to get into my Christmas crafting yet. So I had an unexpected illness, and then I was traveling for Thanksgiving, which was wonderful. But, you know, whenever you travel, you do take away that time from your studio that you, you know, honestly, I just opened my Christmas stash up, you know, a few days ago, and finally started looking in there, and it's so fun. I love doing Christmas crafting, but yeah, a little behind this year, but I am enjoying this season so much. We got our tree, and we're still doing the real live Christmas tree. Every year I say, oh, one of these years I'm going to switch over to the fake tree, but so far everybody in the family still really loves the real tree. And I mean, I love it too. It smells so good. It is very messy though. I do forget every year how messy it is. And then I was on my hands and knees picking up those little little things that fall off the tree, and said, okay, maybe it's time to get that fake tree instead of the real one. But that's always a highlight, to get the tree up, and I have all the lights on it, but I'm waiting for my daughters to come home to help me with the ornaments and decorating. We put a ton of ornaments on the tree. We're like really into the ornaments. So I just find that super fun as well. And there's just so many, you know, nostalgic memories. Oh, remember this one, and remember when we got that, or when we made this ornament. And that's so fun. I just love that. These are some papers. I want to make sure I get some of these in the Scrappy Notepads, because they're the specialty papers that I coffee dye, where I do a double dye process. And so the paper's dyed, and then I put a stencil on it and then spray it with more coffee dye mixture, and I get these beautiful patterns, which I think are so special. So I'm just going to pop that in. Make sure we have at least one of those in every Scrappy Notepad. You can probably still hear it in my voice that I'm feeling well, but my voice is still not back to where it should be. Just really, when you don't have enough paper to grab. So in a case like that, what I sometimes will do is just rip it by hand. In fact, I think it might be easier if I just took it back out. And one thing about ripping it by hand and not ripping it with the ruler, it gives it even more of a shabby edge, which I think is so pretty and fun, and I like that. You know, you just get these little extra unexpected rips, and it's like, ooh, that looks so pretty. So that'll be just fine. And I kind of like that ragged edge sticking out, and that makes it look a little more shabby chic. One of these is gonna need to be ripped so it's not so straight. Even if we just did something like that. Okay. Fabulous. I just need a couple more here. Now this one I think I'm actually going to make a little shorter because I think that is just too much at the bottom. That looks better. And then we need a couple more pieces up here. Look for my scraps. Maybe what we'll do here, let's put another one that fit under there. I like to have a lot of different color schemes coming along. I think that looks pretty good. Gonna have to rip that top part just a tinch more. So yeah, the other thing I've been enjoying is the parties and getting, you know, doing some baking, and I think those are all wonderful activities of the season, and planning special fun activities. See if I want one more in here. So yeah, it's just really, really nice to work with some of the Christmassy stuff. I've been enjoying, I watched the Christmas Craft Off. I really enjoyed watching all of those videos in November. And love the Christmas themed journals. I've been watching a few of those when I have a minute here and there. I just really enjoy that. Of course, I watched a bunch when I was sick. I was very thankful to have all of those things to watch to pass the time when you just don't feel up to doing anything else. That's a little too wonky. Try something like that. Okay, I'm gonna just pop something here. And then for the top, I usually always like to have, I mean, for my French theme notepads, I have words that run across the top that are written in French. And then I usually use a little bit of coffee dyed lace and trim. But since these are Christmas themed, I was thinking maybe something like this would look good. And I'm not sure of the width here, but I'm just going to try this. I have some of these vintage books. This one's A Christmas Carol, so let's see if we could maybe put something like that across the top. I'm just checking it for the size. I'm going to rip a bit off here. And then we could put some trim, lace, maybe hand-torn fabric. I have some hand-torn fabric that's also been dyed. Okay, so something like that, A Christmas Carol. And then this is my hand-dyed lace, which I have been using a lot of lately. I just take little sections of it and coffee dye it. Put it in the coffee tea dyed baths that I put the paper in. And then we can either put it behind there. Oh yeah, that looks good. And then maybe just a little couple of pieces on the front. Usually I would like to put it right in the middle, but I feel like if I do that, then we're gonna cover up a Christmas carol. I don't want to do that. So I might try something like this on the edge. I'm just gonna kind of set that there, and then I have some words there. And we just need something for this. And so I just put a little piece of that in there. I just kind of estimate it. Ooh, this is pretty. I have one of these same things on an index card, which could maybe go up there. Ooh, also just saw this, this word joy, which would be really nice for, might not be, let's see, might be too much with that other word there, but I might take that one out. Let's see how that would look. Put joy up here. And I have some other lace. Let's see. This lace. I can try a little piece of this. And just kind of make a little something here. Oh, that looks nice. Okay, I'm happy with these. So what do you think, guys? Our scrappy notepads with Merry Christmas, a Christmas carol, love, Merry Christmas, deck the halls music, and nice neutral color Christmas theme. And then I'm just gonna sew these together. So here are the 3 Christmas themed scrappy notepads after I took them to the sewing machine and sewed across the top. So let's take one last look at each of these. A joyful Christmas and a variety of different papers, all cascading down in waterfall style. Some gorgeous grunginess and a beautiful Merry Christmas message. You can see the messy stitching on the back. And there's one. There's number 2. This has the Christmas carol words. And again, all of the lovely different papers grouped together with some nice grungy spots, beautiful flowers, authentic vintage pages, some inspirational Christmas words, gorgeous grunginess, places to write, and the back of this one, lovely messy stitching. This is the wider one. And then number 3, we have joy. And again, all of the lovely pages grouped together. We even snuck in a French book page into this one. Merry Christmas. And all of that beautiful grunginess. Just ready for some notes or lists. Maybe a naughty or nice list, gift list. Perfect to tuck into a Christmas journal or give as a little holiday gift. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found some inspiration here, and please check back soon for a new video from Mary, Passion for Paper. Bye.